Do you have a system when you onboard your students? This is really important that you actually have a system that works or starts when you get the first query of someone who's interested in your lessons. Because the moment you get that inquiry, the sales process starts, okay? Because we want these people who contact us, if they are a good fit for us, we want them to obviously start with us taking lessons. So when you actually have someone contacting you, you need to have in mind the process that you want these people to go through. So in the end, that results in the fact that they're going to sign up with you, right? So I have personally never really thought of this as a sales process, but it actually is. But whether you look at it as a sales process or not, the fact is that, as independent tutors, we want these people to obviously see what we do. We want to speak with them. We want to see, can we actually help them? And if we can, we want them to sign up. Okay. Now, if you do not have this process in place, you can lose students. You can lose these potential inquiries because they might, kind of fall between the chairs. So it's important that you have a system set in place so you have the most chances of getting that person to sign up with you. Okay. So if this is not something you've actually thought about, you might want to sit down and say, okay, what do I actually do when I have a person contacting me for information to the moment where they actually sign the contract? So if you have not actually thought of this, check it out. See, what do you actually do? I did not think of this myself for years. I just did what I felt was right. And what I really like is that even though it is sales, because everything we do in a business, right, is concentrated upon sales and delivery, okay, we need to actually be a bit more conscient about what we do in this sales process. And it doesn't have to be salesy, it doesn't have to be pushy, it doesn't have to be weird. Because if your heart is in the right place and you have your passion and you really want to help these people, then it does not feel like selling. I never feel like I'm selling a person. I just go with, what I want that person to learn, how I want to help them. And that then became my onboarding process. So I give you example. I give you how I do it. Okay. So I do not do any online. Well, I say that I do have some WhatsApp groups for adults, but all the rest is face to face in small groups. And I have a specific process that I do, so I have the biggest chance of getting that person helped by me. Okay. And in this process, I can also see if that person is not the right fit for my business. Because people often think, well, it's the clients that are out there, the potential clients that are choosing my business. And in my case, I'm not saying it's for everybody, but in my case, I'm the one choosing my clients. So that means that in this process that I've set up, I can see, first of all, is it a person, is it a client that I want to work with? Is it a student that I would like to help? And if yes, which it very often is, of course, then I will do this process to make sure that they have all the information they need for them to make a proper and correct decision for them. It's not just like sell, 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 and yes, I'm just going to promise the earth and all the rest to get a sale. No, it's not. It is about, okay, how can you actually help this person? How can I, with the knowledge I have, with the setup that I have, can I really help that person? I have very regularly people who contact me who are interested in my services or in what I do, because I teach English to French people. And I say, no, I'm not the person for you. And that's okay, because we all have our different kind of areas of either expertise or who we want to work with and so on. And that needs to go into your onboarding process, because there's no logic in onboarding someone that you do not feel comfortable in working with, or you do not want to work with, or you cannot because of your abilities. And so you should not spend a lot of time figuring this out. It has to come quite early in the process. And if then it's like, yes, this is a person I want to really help and so on, then you carry on your onboarding process. So what I do is that when I get a contact, it can either be a phone call, an email, text message, whatever it is, someone contacts me and say, I'm interested in your services. Obviously, the natural thing to do is to find out, well, who's it for? What is the person needing? Like, is it for the adult calling? Or is it for a child? Or what is it for? And already there, you kind of know if it's for you or not, right? Then if it's someone that is in your niche, someone you feel you can help, okay, what I do right there and then is that as much as possible, I get a meeting with the parent or the person. I want to see them in person. And yes, it takes my time to go to my office or here, and I take the time to actually see them, because I have found that if I can actually get a meeting with them and see them and really understand what are they trying to solve, because obviously they have a problem or they have some kind of thing that they want to have, a solution for. And I find that if I see them, I can much easier get them on board, get them signed up. And in the beginning, it was actually the only reason I did that was because my French was not very good. And when I spoke to them on the phone, it was harder for me to understand what they wanted and what they were saying. So my kind of natural instinct was, okay, let's meet up. Because when I see the person, it was easier for me to understand. I could, kind of more easily re-ask the question if I didn't fully understand. And it came actually about that way. But what I found was that when I saw the person, a lot of other factors actually played into them signing up. And it's super important that these factors are present, because that way it just shortcuts the whole sign up process. Because when a person sees you in person, okay, they get more reality, right? And they maybe like you a little more because they actually see you, they speak to you, they see where you are. Okay, if you're teaching from home, perfectly fine. You can welcome them for a 10-minute meeting to say, well, just come by, see where I live, and we can have a chat. And that really heightens this, connection between you and the potential student. That's the first thing. If it is for a child, it's super important that they see who you are. They see how you speak. They see how you kind of deal with them, even when you just say, hello, how are you? And that gives security for the child right away. And then it's so much easier to speak to the person and say, okay, well, what is the problem you're trying to solve? And how can I help solve that problem? Because all we do is that we are problem solvers, right? And that's great, because I love to help people, with the English language and help them handle these problems that they have with that language. So when you meet up, it gives that whole affinity factor a boost. Okay, they see who you are, they hopefully like you, right? And you also see who they are. Okay, and you can get an idea of, is this someone you want to work with? And that is the moment if you've already kind of passed the point of, okay, so they're in your niche and they are looking for something that you can do, then the second kind of checkpoint is, do you want to work with them? Okay. And that is where this is now, because when you see them, you get to speak to them, you get to find out, where they're at, where do they want to be. And at this point, if you're like, no, I don't feel, the vibe, or you don't feel that is something that you can do or you want to do, well, then you can end it just there. Okay. But if it's fine and you feel, okay, there's a good flow and you feel comfortable with the person and you feel that you can help them, which is the most important part, right? Then now it's so much easier to then get the person to sign up because they've seen you, they see what you do, you might have explained a little bit about your process and so on. I have much more detailed points that I actually do in that interview to make sure that the person understands that I'm the person for them. Okay. And I have a whole layout on that. But all I want to tell you here is that if you are tutoring face to face, it is so much worth your time to actually sit down and get a meeting with them first. Okay. Because you check off a whole bunch of stuff on your list of like, okay, is this someone I want to work with? And secondly, the fact they've seen you, they've spoken to you, they see where you are, you might show them a bit how you do things. The chances of them signing up like just explodes. Okay. So this is one of my key factors in my business. And I would say 99% of the people I see, they sign up. And the only reason they do not sign up is there's some kind of change, because obviously before I see them, I check that I have something for them, that I can help them. So that means as I have groups, I need to make sure I have space in the group and that they can actually come in that, slot. Because if they're like, well, I would like my son to have English lessons, but in the moment where I have my slot for that age group, he's actually at football. Okay, then that's going to be difficult. So on the phone call, on the email, that's the first thing I check. Are they actually available in the time where I have that slot? And are they aware of my prices? And if those two things are fine, then I say, okay, we need to, let's meet up. Okay. And from that point, the only thing that has changed with some of my students that come, or potential students that come for a meeting, is that either the activity that they also do, could be the dance or the football or whatever, that the schedule changes and they cannot come, or sometimes it has been that the jobs of one of the parents changed and then they cannot pick them up or whatever. But it's really a small percentage. So imagine if you actually have an onboarding process that gives you almost like a certainty of signups for that person. I mean, isn't that amazing? And I tell you, it's so easy. But obviously, the first thing that needs to be in place is your heart in the right place, right? We're not just selling stuff for the sake of it, right? And I haven't met any tutor that have not had this in place, because we want to help people. Teachers and tutors, we do this because we have the heart in the right place, right? And we really want to help people. So that is the first thing. It's like, do you feel you can help that person? And do you feel that with the way you do things and with the program you use and everything else, do you feel that you can actually get that person from where they are to the place they want to be? And if that is a yes, then onboarding is no problem. But there are some technical aspects of this that can make your chances of a sign up much higher. And you need to just know these points. And after that, it's a breeze. Okay, so check out, what do you do to actually sign up a person? Like, look also at your past signups. When someone signed up with you, what did you do? What steps did you take to actually sign that person up? Because maybe you do this. Maybe you actually have an onboarding process. You just haven't thought about it as one. And maybe you haven't written it down. I've written my down exactly like, what do I do to get that person from the first phone call to actually starting my lessons? And it's interesting because you probably do so many things, and that these things actually causing you to have students so it's successful. So you need to see what are those steps and just keep doing them every time you have an inquiry, because that will give you obviously much more students in the end. Okay, so I hope this helps, and if not, give me a shout and I'll be happy to help you.